cocoon, but it was raining as I walked back to my cabin, so it's pretty necessary. I'm honored to share with you momentarily a movement practice that sort of downloaded from the cloud, if as one of my teachers says, and if you will go with that analogy. I downloaded it from the cloud just the other night as I was moving before bed, but it's rather uplifting, so I would recommend practicing it during the daytime. It's meant to aid in your ability to take up space with presence, ease, and grace. It can aid in the amplification of your presence and in your general comfort with filling spaces, holding spaces, being in unfamiliar spaces, all that good stuff. I just practiced it as I filmed this, and I feel a bit more vibrant, a bit more radiant, just more secure in my body and in my being, which I think aids in our ability to take up a space with confidence and authority and still humility, because there are times when our energy as beings can feel overbearing and can feel as if we're too much, and then we should shy away. And at times, yeah, maybe you need to tone it down a notch, but for the most part, you're totally fine. No one is judging you, no one is watching you, and take up that space, be in that space, embody yourself and your being and your present state within those spaces. This practice might especially benefit folks who have experienced depression of their voice, suppression of their general expression. A lot of those groups or folks being marginalized individuals. So for myself, I identify with women who have been oppressed for centuries, really. I mean, I come from European ancestry, so there was a time when the matriarchy reigned, and my contact, and I'm sure my ancestors were not as oppressed, but still, women have been doubted and silenced and shut down for centuries, and practices like this one, where we're encouraged to be more embodied and more present in spaces, can aid in healing those ancestral wounds and those present wounds that maybe were instilled in us as beings in a society that doesn't cherish women and our voices as much as it should and as it could. So for me, this is a great practice as a woman to take up space and do so with grace and ease, and bring others up with me through sharing it with all of you. So thank you for tuning in. Without further ado, you can watch the flow now. We'll begin with a little bit of a warm-up that you can go through, but do your own warm-up, really. Definitely would recommend a couple sun salutations and a little bit of hamstring work, which I didn't really demonstrate, but I did this morning. Since we'll be opening up through the hips and the legs a fair amount, and it's an across the floor flow, so you'll flow across the floor, so make sure you have ample space, and then take it up as much as you would like. And if you would like to, I personally didn't, because I was still focused on the breath of this flow. You can say any phrase that you feel called to as you move across the floor. You could say, I am not afraid to take up space. I am embodied. I fill this space with grace and ease. I'm secure in my being. Anything and everything that comes to mind, feel free to speak it as you move, but I would definitely recommend getting the flow down first, since it's a bit tricky since you're off the mat and in a space of discomfort. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Leave any feedback in the comments below. Blessed be, always, always. Here's a little warm-up I practiced, starting in a Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly, and on this particular day I really warmed up my ankles and my feet a good amount. As it turns out, Pisces season is connected to the feet, so maybe that's why. Opening up the hips and hamstrings with some leg circles, pointing and flexing my feet a little bit more as I do, and this is sped up, so move a lot slower. Keep your low back glued down, core engaged. Here I found a little bit of core engagement, and you can rest your hands sort of behind your quads for some added support. Continuing on, finding a tall seat, I move into some forward folds, nice and soft. Even though I'm rounding, my spine is still pretty long, so keep that in mind. And if you're folding over crossed legs, make sure to switch over and switch your legs, which leg is in front, and fold down with both legs alternating in front, obviously. To wake up a little bit, I did a little rock and roll, then got into standing. We'll be practicing some back bends, so warm up with those for sure. For these hip openers, I will have you remember to move from your hip joint, the ball in the socket. Let that be where the movement comes from. And when you kick and extend your leg outwards, let that be the hamstring doing it, even though your heel really is guiding you. To warm up a little bit more, I got into some crescent lunges, some full airplanes, figure 4 to open my hip. And then this sort of builds towards our flow. So be sure to practice something similar to this. What exactly that is a crescent lunge to airplane arms to full airplane, standing at mountain at half step, and then figure 4, and then rising back up, extending your legs, stepping forward into pyramid pose, as you can see I'm doing here. And that will be preparing you for our across the floor flow, so then you're warmed up and ready to go. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, mountain half staff, right leg raises. Exhale, extend, stay for an inhale. Exhale, step forward, pyramid pose, fold down. Inhale, rise up most half-ish way. Exhale, full airplane. Inhale, left leg swings through, mountain at half. Exhale, extend, stay for inhale. Exhale, lower down once more, pyramid pose. Inhale, half lift-ish. Exhale, full airplane. Inhale to mountain at half staff, right leg raises. Exhale, kick. Stay for a breath. Inhale and exhale, lower down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, float forward, full airplane. Inhale, rise up, mountain at half, left knee raises. Exhale, kick. Inhale, stay. Exhale, step forward and down, pyramid. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, float, full airplane. Inhale, rise through mountain at half staff. This time as you exhale, open your knee towards the right, step out, heels out, toes in, grow tall. On an exhale, forward fold down, crown of the head drips down, shoulders roll up. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, you'll be stepping towards the right, left foot to right foot. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, pause for a breath, maybe a baby back bend, whatever you need. Inhale, mountain pose once more. Exhale, there's a baby back bend. Inhale, mountain at half, left knee rises. Exhale, open at the hip towards the left, step out, preparing for goddess pose. Inhale to shine, exhale to sit into your goddess stance. Option for a little bit of movement here. You can play around. Totally up to you, let your breath be your guide. Eventually, you'll inhale back, stepping to the left this time, right foot to left foot. Pausing, here I'm in Samasthiti. Inhale back through mountain. Exhale, even out with one last baby back bend. Here's a different perspective for you. Same flow. You can see it from the front now. Couple of reminders. You'll want a strong engaged core all the way through, as that is sort of our centrifugal point as we swing like a pendulum at certain points. Your shoulders will move together and down your back at all points in time, especially those baby back bends. When you're opening up your hip, when you're opening it up to the side or extending it out in front, let that be done from the hip joint as well as the hamstring. It feels like your heel is kicking you out and guiding you, but let those muscles in your hip and your hamstrings do the work for you. To keep yourself level, as you can see, my hips are pretty balanced all the way through. Ignite through the outer leg lines on both legs, especially a standing leg when you're in a shape like airplane. Imagine those muscles, the outer region of your quad, pulling up away from your knee, and in doing that, you'll have a sturdier stance. Ignite all the way through your fingertips in motions such as this baby back bend, all the way through your toes when you're stepping out. Let your feet really be flexed or pointed in every shape. Tall spine is important at all times. Belly button draws up towards your face. Tailbone tucks down and under, especially in goddess. Happy flowing.